to the week 6, which is my 6.2 assignment for this week, which I'd like to take you through. And this week, we were to focus on 3 essential things: on what you built, why did you build it, and how did you build it. So in this assignment, I'm about to take you through the communities that I worked on, which is the Simpsons and my FC script as well. Okay. So first off, I'm going to start with the Simpsons script, which is the one you see over here. And then on this tab, you can see my FC script as well. All right, so without further ado, I'll take you through. So this is my entire tab for the Simpsons. Here's the entire tab, an entire query script as well. And I had 4 questions here, and each question came with an answer. So with the first question, it says, what is the total of the debits for Oli, Marge, Simpson? And what is the total for Hammer? So Marge Simpsons and Hammer seems to be like a couple, and this community is about them. It's about their transactions at the quick EMAT, and also about their credit card details. So I'm going to show you the database for the Simpsons. There's the Simpsons database. And in the tables column, if I expand, it gives us 2 tables, which is the family data and the FBS Visa customer. So I'm going to expand the tables. I mean three tables. So I'll select the top 1,000 row for the family data. In the family data, we can see it contains the member ID, name, the entire name, the first name and the second name as well, and the job that each of them does. Homer Simpson is a nuclear safety inspector, while Marge Simpson is a housewife. Okay, so that's for the family data, which I will close. Then I'll also expand the top 1,000 row for the Visa Cosmo. Sorry. In expanding it, we can see it have some columns and rows, and each column have different stuff. With the first row, with the first column, it has numbers. The second, status. The third is date. The fourth is description, and we have debit on the 5th, credit on the 6th, and the member name on the 7th column. Okay, now I'll take you through the DBO Planet Express. I'll select the top 1,000 row as well. And in here, we can see date column, description, card member, account, the amount, and the category under this column as well. So coming to the first question, it says, what is the total of the debits for Oli, Marge Simpsons? And what is the total for Homer? So with this query, I wrote some statements. I used the select statement to sum the debit. That's the debit from the total debit of March. That's from the FBS Visa Cosmo, this side. So I'll select the FBS Visa Cosmo, this, the top 1,000 table. And where Marge Simpson, member name is equal to Marge Simpson. So with this first query, it's going to give us the total debit for only Marge Simpson. And I'm going to execute this query here. And we can see, so far, the total debits for Marge Simpson happens to be 32,337.7. That's the total debit for Marge Simpson. And I'll also go ahead and run this separate query for Homer Simpson. We are going to check the total debit as well. And when I run that, you can see the total debit for Homer Simpson is 13,951. So I'm going to run both of them, and we can see the difference. We can see the spender here happens to be Marge Simpson. All right. So I'm going to go to the next question. The next question is, Quick E-Mart seems to be a very popular grocery store. tell me how much money was spent at Quick Emat on both cars, as well as how many times Homer and Marge went. So I'm going to select Marge Simpson, and I'll sum the debit as the total spent and count as visit. So I selected it from the FBS Visa Cosmo table, where the description is equal to Quick Emat and Homer Simpson in Homer Simpson and Marge Simpson, where I grouped them by a member name. And I did the same thing for Homer Simpson and Marge Simpson, like separately, which I'll run. And with the first run, you can see Marge Simpson's the total amount of money which has been spent and the number of times he went to the Quick Emat. I would like to run them both. I'll run both queries for us to have a broader idea of what inspired. Okay, so we can see on a separate note that Homer Simpson's visited the store like 34 times, while Marge Simpson's also visited like 34 times. It seems they went on both occasions like the same amount of time. So question 3 is, who is spending the most? We need expenses cut. Retrieve information from the debit transaction. And with this, I'm going to select from the member name and I'll sum debit as total debits from the FBS Visa Cosmo. And when I run this query, it's going to provide us with the answer. So it's clear that Marge Simpson is the one who is a spender here and he's spending the lot over here. And on the fourth question, said, as a financial advisor for the Simpsons, you need to analyze their spending habits. How could you use the FBS Visa Cosmo table and the Planet Express table to categorize their transactions and provide insight on their monthly expenses and potential saving strategies? So I have a long code written here actually. And when we run this code or this query, it's going to give us an answer. And in this query, we have to combine, we have to join the FBS Visa Cosmo and the Planet Express table. And so this is from the FBS Visa Cosmo, and this is also for the Planet Express. And I'm going to run this query for us to see. Okay, so when I execute, okay. So we can see, we can track their expenses here from what I run. So you can see, so far it goes way down, and that's it for the Simpsons. So I would like to proceed with my FC. So I'm going to load the database for that and let us have more insight on that as well. So this is my FC database, which I'm going to run against my FC database over here. And with this database, it's a community that talks about football with a team, a player name, and a couple of teams as well. So this is the first table here. And this table is actually, it contains the days, number, and weeks. It's like a calendar or something like that. Yeah. And I will proceed with this one as well. That's the NAMS table. I think this one have the team numbers, or the number of IDs. And with the player DIM, when I select the top 1,000 row, you can see the player ID, the league name, the football team name, the player name, the team ID, the player ID, and the player number all over here. And with the position table too, it indicates the player ID, player code, position code, position name, and the position target. We can see position name, goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, and forward. And the position code is a G, D, M, and F with the ID as 1, 2, 3, 4. The target as 3, 7, 9, 6. So that's it for now. And I'll select the last table here. And with this table too, we can see it has a team ID and a team code to see whether the players are in the under 18, under 17, 15, 16 to under 7, true to that. All right. So I'd like to answer a few questions here. So with this question, it says salary adjustment is being made. Fetch out the total average salary. With this, to fetch out the total average salary, we are going to select average from the MTD salary, which is from the player table facts. So there's the table with the player facts, and we can see the salary over here, the date and the player ID. So running this code, I had to select the average from the monthly salary as average salary from the player fact table. And when I execute, you can see the average salary here is 10,000, like 102,342. Yes, 102,342. That's the total average salary. That's the average of the monthly salary. That's when combined. Finding the average, that's the amount we have. And here with the question 3, it says, please tell me all of the players' name that use the number 87 as well as their position. From this query, I'm going to select the table, which is the player DIM and also the table player position. And I join these two tables to be able to come out with the number of players who wear the number 87 jersey. So I'm going to run this query out here for you. And we can see that the player with the ID number 1, who is a goalkeeper with the name Martinez Diego and a player jersey of 87, was the only player to appear here when I ran this query. And this is very accurate. And with the last question here, it says, 87 is my favorite number. I want to see which players may share the same thought. This one seems like an equivalence to the player who wears the number 87, but then it wasn't able to give out or be specific if a position is required or not. So with this, I'll work on it and execute it. So when I does that, you can see we don't have a position here, but Martinez Diego was the same person who appeared previously on the other query I executed. It's the same person who appeared here as well. So far, this is my table and my script for my FC, and I hope my codes were good, and I am ready for critique, and I would like you to pass your comments as well. Thank you.